Hello and welcome back to MathLAB programming class. I'm Hossein Tutunchi, and in this video I'm going to show you how to perform the selection all operations, the if conditions. So let me clear the screen. Most of the time the find function performs very well and it can do what we're searching for. However, there are occasions where we need to test some criterion and then decide based on the result. To give you an example, let me start the test and let me clear that. The way that we define the if condition is if we do a comparison or test a relationship, and if it was true, we do some statements and perform them accordingly. And at the end, we run end, which means that now the if loop is complete. So let me show you how it works. X equals 3. I define a value for x. And then I'm going to write a condition, a loop for that. I would like to say if x less than 4, this was the condition that we talked about, the comparison. And the second part, which is statement, if x was less than that, this is a function which displays a number or a statement. Whatever we put inside the single quotation in this function, it will be shown later. So the x value is smaller than 4. And then we would like to have the value of x shown, and at the end we put end. Notice that MathLAB automatically arranges the outline and program, which makes things more neat and clear. So with this one, let me save that, and then we call it test. The x value is smaller than 4, is 3. Why it ran? Because the condition was true. X was 3 and x was indeed less than 4, so this function and the inside portion of the if condition ran. However, if I put x to 5, now x is not less than 4, and let me save it, and then I call it here, test. You see that no result will be shown, and the reason being is that the condition was not true. In MathLAB programming, and in if condition, if the condition part, if the first part is not true, then everything else will not be operated, and the end function will just end the loop. Now we're going to explore another function called if-else. If-else is when we have more than one condition. It's not like that always everything is bigger or smaller than something else. Maybe there are multiple conditions. Maybe we're interested into ranges. If x was between 10 and 20, then do something. If it was between 25 to 35, then do something else. And because we need these multiple if statement and if condition, we've created the if-else structure, and we also have a nested format of that I will explain in a minute. To give you an example, if x was bigger than 0, then go and calculate the log of x. Else, what it does, else means that if x was not bigger than 0, what happened then? Then this two single quotation, and between we put the input of log cannot be negative. And end. So please note that in else if function, we can have only one criteria more than the normal if function. So if we had two criteria, two possibilities, we can use else if. And in nested format, we can have more than that too. So let's go with this one. If x was bigger than 0, then calculate the log of x. But if x was not bigger than 0, then tell us that it cannot be negative. So if I put x equals to 5, which is a bigger number than 0, then I call test. You see that the value is calculated because indeed 5 was bigger than 0. How about if I put x equals to -6, which is smaller than 0? And then I call test, and you see that the input of log cannot be negative. So it tells us, it alarms us that it cannot be negative, and it's very good. Also, let me show you something interesting. We can do, have you ever seen that when you do something by mistake, the computer beeps you and just, it's a speaker sound called beep. And actually there is a function in MATLAB called beep that we can do that to draw the attention. Here we're going to modify our function. If x was bigger than 0, then simply go and calculate the log of x. If it was not bigger than 0, then first do a beep, beep, and then display the result. Before I run this, let me increase the volume of my speaker, and then when I click, look what happens. Now the value of x is negative, which is less than 0. So I call test. You see that there is a beep. Test. And it is very nice. We can use the beep function to draw attention.